Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people. Next slide, please. So just a quick summary of what Pop-Up PD for Literacy Educators is, if this is your first time. It's a free webinar series developed by the LBS regional networks and the provincial support organizations for literacy in Ontario. It supports LBS practitioners with presentations on topics that are important to them. And the English language webinars have been presented annually since 2015 and 2016 fiscal year. And all webinar presentations, recording links, and transcripts can be found at the Pop-Up PD Resources for LBS Educators website. If you ever have any ideas for topics, please do email eChannel@contactnorth.ca with those. We're always happy to hear what the field is interested in. Next slide, please. Okay, so first up, we have today we have St. Charles Adult and Continuing Education, and speaking on their behalf or about programs that are offered there are Anita Silva and Cassandra Murphy. Anita and Cassandra are LBS instructors with St. Charles Adult Education Centers in Hamilton. Anita has been an instructor for 32 years with the board and has taught a lot of programs over the years, including ESL, computers, TED, and LBS, including traditional and targeted training. Cassandra joined the board a few years ago and has done a great job teaching their targeted training. Both Anita and Cassandra a team providing a combination of experience and youthfulness. So welcome, Anita and Cassandra, and you may go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going to start today. I'm Anita, and I'm going to start today. I forgot that intro that I had written. Cassandra, I hope that was okay.
That was fine, yeah.
Good. Okay, so we've been doing targeted training for about 10 years at St. Charles. We were a little bit reluctant at first to get into it, but we're definitely true believers now. We started doing targeted training for a couple of reasons. One of them, and most importantly, there was needs in the community that we could meet by doing targeted training. And also, if you're successful in your targeted training, you have a steady stream of learners coming into your program, which is good to help you reach your targets that we know we all need to reach every year. If you could switch to the next slide. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a few different programs. We have 3 programs that we run on a regular ongoing basis, and Casey's going to talk about those. And then I'll speak briefly about some of the programs that we've done in the past. So I'm going to, if you can switch it over, and I'm going to let my colleague take over to talk about our courses we're running now.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So as Anita mentioned, we do have 3 levels of computers within our general targeted training classes. The first one, level 1, is our basic computers. And in this programming, it's running in person at St. Charles here. We have morning and afternoon availability, and it's offered to everyone. Really, it's geared towards those who have little to no computer experience. So what we're seeing is people with the employment goal path as well as independents. We get quite a few independent school paths coming into the class who just want to gain more experience with the computers to keep up with their families and whatnot. Within this programming, we run through the computer components such as, you know, the basic mouse and keyboard. We talk about different computer vocabulary. Then we allowed them to use the mouse and the keyboard. We briefly introduce the internet browser, and then we talk about safety on the internet, which is important. And we kind of end up with a little bit of Word and some email as well. So it kind of touches on all those basic points of, you know, being introduced to the computer. You can go to the next slide, please. All right, so level 2 is our job readiness computer. It's offered in person, again, within the morning and afternoons. And then with this one, we also offer it online asynchronously. The programming is geared towards learners who have some experience with computers, but they're interested in building their technology confidence in a workplace setting. While there is review components of the job readiness, we mainly focus on Microsoft Word and Excel, and then we close the class with teaching our learners how to access and use Google search engine and Indeed search engines to look for work. So what we're finding in this class is we do still have some of those independent learners coming in, and also credit learners and whatnot, to build those skills in Microsoft Word and Excel, but we're mainly getting the employment goal path here. Also, another one small note to mention here is that we do introduce employment services at this point too. So often we'll talk to the class and say, you know, is anyone interested in employment services coming in and maybe having a demonstration for us? So this also builds our community partnership with those services as well. And it also is a successful stepping stone for our learners to essentially complete their goals as well. Okay, well, we can move to the next slide. Thank you. Lastly, we have our Computers in Education program, and it's geared towards our learners who are earning a credit program, who are entering into credit programs. So it's offered in person at St. Charles Mountain, and its main goal is to prepare our learners to be successful in that online environment, as we see many of the credit programs are offered online now. So it's sorry, I lost my spot here. So we introduce them to the My Class program, and we show them how to submit assignments, complete their online quizzes, save files, and then again, we touch on the Microsoft Word program as well, and we introduce them to OneDrive as well. All right, we can move to the next slide.
Okay, this is me again, and I'm going to talk just briefly about a few programs that we've run in the past. One of the successful programs that we ran was our ESL numeracy. And this came about because our supervisor was talking to some of the higher level ESL instructors, and their students are preparing to, some of their students are preparing to do their Canadian high school diploma. So ESL provides them with the English background that they need, but some of them were saying, I need some help with math before I can jump into a high school math credit. So we created a targeted training for that purpose. We covered curriculum that would be necessary for them to hopefully be able to challenge a PLAR exam. And then once they're done, if they've passed the PLAR exam, then they can go into grade 11 math. So we ran that, it was successful. We don't run it anymore only because we don't have the capacity. We don't have the people or the time to do it, but we do accommodate our ESL learners by allowing them to go into our regular LBS programming, and they work on just numeracy. So we're still helping in that respect. Our Skills for Success, the pilot that was offered last year, I'm sure many people are familiar. We chose the underrepresented group of newcomers. So we offered our digital literacy and communication to them. Because they were all non-native speakers, we were able to adjust the class and focus on things that we would do a little bit differently if it were a little bit differently than we would if it were just a regular kind of class that Casey does. So we, focused on vocabulary. We worked at a pace that was good for them. That went very well. Skills for Success is no longer running, so and that was specifically our course for Skills for Success. Social media was another one that we had developed during COVID. During COVID, when everybody was home, it was a good course to offer. However, we know that courses are a lot of work to maintain. It wasn't one of our more popular ones, so we've kind of shelved it now, just because we want to focus on our more popular courses. So that one's sort of on the back burner for now. Okay, you can switch to the next. So we all know that it's a lot of work to create a new course. We started not from scratch, but we used the digital resources for digital literacy that was provided by KESBA. So that's a resource that was available to us. And we have tweaked it and adapted it considerably over the years, but it's a great place to start. So if anybody's looking to start out, that's a good resource to start with. Okay, you can flip the side.
All right, so when we talk about our source of learners, like I said, we pull from all the different pools in terms of goal path, but our learner demographic is 18 plus individuals. They're usually interested in increasing their communication and digital literacy skills. Often we see they are either newcomers, job seekers, or independent learners. And where they come from, well, we are situated in an adult high school here, so we do have internal referrals from our St. Charles registered learners, but we also, I think we have done a really good job in maintaining partnerships through the ABA, and we get a lot of external referrals as well. And then mainly is word of mouth. Really, the amount of learners that come in here and bring friends and family, because I think that they feel like we all in these positions really care, and that's where that relationship building comes in, when you can connect with your learners and in that way and just have a chat with them. And maybe it's not just about whatever you're teaching, you're talking about, you know, their lives and other ways you can connect them to programming. That's always going to get more people coming into your program, because they're getting something, not just, you know, an instructor standing there telling them what to do. So we really work on building those types of relationships with our learners, and it's worked well for us. All right, we can move to the next slide. Thank you. So again, why did we choose the computer targeted training? As Anita said, we had gone through all those historical targeted training, but we really just seen that there was a need for it. There's increased demand. So not only within the job workforce, but just everyday lives. Like we do have quite a bit of independent learners, which when I first came here, I was quite surprised actually. So the increasing technology in modern day society with, say, communication with family, or just keeping up with everyday life, that's where we see one area of demand. The next area is internal and external feedback. So it's what our learners are telling us that they're interested in doing when we ask them, you know, what are you guys interested in learning more about? And sorry, I'm seeing there's some notes in the chat here. So your school board does not offer any classes like this. You're not competing with school board classes similar to what you have offered. No, I don't think so. Anita, you'd probably know a little bit more about that.
No, not within our school board, but there are other agencies in Hamilton that do offer digital literacy as well. But within our school board, which we are the only ones to do it, which is great, because we get referrals from credit, we get referrals from ESL, from our PSW, from other programs. So we're able to support those learners. So again, great partnership within our system to help the learners.
Yeah.
Good.
That's a good question too. So have you had any pushback, as these classes may not be individualized enough to meet our service commitments? So we do take the time when needed. So we do have, like we said, a general guideline on what a class is like, but you all know as well as I do that sometimes you have learners coming in at very, very different skill levels. So we do offer Fridays where learners can come in, and maybe you're going over things with them that they didn't understand as you were running through your class. And then we also have the opportunity to customize the program based on the learner. So you'll see sometimes you might not be teaching the exact same, it's still around the same framework, but it might not be the exact same things you're teaching every single class, because again, you have to customize based on your learner group. And maybe sometimes you have higher level with digital experience, so you can show a little bit more. And then sometimes you might not have that same group your next round. So it really is, although it seems like it's a set curriculum, it's not. We do often customize it very often, very often. Yeah, I know. It's something that I feel, and it's not just you. I have other learners who come into the class, and sorry, there was a Randa mentioned that we have struggled to have our rep understand that. And that's something that I've heard from learners as well with other programs, that it isn't as customizable as what we do. So maybe that's another reason why we keep getting learners coming back. It's hard, and I understand it's hard. It takes time and effort, and Anita will go over that later to really take the time to customize, especially when you have such a big group. And lastly, we see employability skills. So we get a lot of learners who just realize when you're going into the job market that if you don't have the foundational level of computer skills, sometimes you're left behind. Even cashiers have to use computers nowadays, or if you're doing inventory, or even situations where they're introducing your schedule. I noticed that people I've spoken to, that all the schedules are digital now. So if these learners don't have these foundational skills, they're finding it challenging once they get into the employment market. So that's another area why we chose computer targeted training. We can go to the next slide.
Okay, so some of the challenges we face. So there's always challenges. So some of the ones that we've faced, the time sensitive delivery, like it is a lot of work and a lot of time to develop. And as Casey say, we update all the time. We add lessons, we modify things, we create, again, if someone continue, like we see a trend where they're struggling with something, so we create a new exercise. So it's a lot of work to do that. Also because it's set dates, start dates and end dates. We could have 15 to 20 people finish this week and 15 to 20 start the next week. So the case management is huge, and it's a lot of work to keep up with that case management. So the time intensive service delivery is a lot. Learners have barriers just like they do in regular LBS, mental health concerns, personal responsibilities. Some of them are just worried about how they're going to feed their family. So there's always those barriers, but that's not unique to targeted training. I think it's with all LBS. High demand and limited capacity. So this is a good problem to have. We are doing well and able to fill our classes. And sometimes we actually are at the point now where we are overfilling our classes, because we always have people that say they're going to come and then they don't show up that day. So we've now started overfilling our classes so that if 20 people say they're going to come, then probably 14 or 15 for sure will show up. Whereas before, if we took 15, then maybe only 10 would show up. So by overbooking our classes, they're always full. And that can be challenging, especially with our basic class. We really try to keep the numbers smaller, but it's not always possible because we don't want to turn people away. The instructional needs and the challenges, again, going back to class sizes, we really do try to keep our class sizes smaller, but it's not always possible. If if somebody is not able to get into the next class, it's a 4 to 6 week wait for the next class to come around. So we really try to take as many learners as we can. Another problem that we've been faced with, which is unfortunate, is we have a lot of ESL population in our buildings, and a lot of them want some digital literacy skills. If they're in ESL full-time, even though it's our same ministry, the ML, whatever, you know, the ministry, even though it's the same ministry, if they're in a full-time ESL class, we have to say no. So we have to turn a lot of people away, which is unfortunate because there should be a way that we can work together, but not happening right now. Thank you, MLITSD. Thank you, I knew that. And lastly, funding. Funding is always a challenge. We know that everything in life has gone up, from, you know, personal costs to groceries to the cost of running programs. Everything has gone up, and the funding per learner has not increased. So we are, you know, trying to do more and more, and the money is just not going as far as it used to. So funding, you know, can always be an issue.
Sorry, Anita, there's just a few questions here. I don't mean to interrupt you. So someone says, how long are these programs? 4 to 6 weeks. I can answer that one. So yes, they are between 4 and 6 weeks. So our basic being 4, and then the second level being 6. And then the next one says, our computer class is a set curriculum, but is continuous intake and a hybrid of instructor-led. Sorry, I'm missing this. Oh. There is no start or end. Some learners go through the curriculum in 6 weeks of 2 hours. Other learners may take a year of classes. So we often have learners that maybe didn't catch everything because it is it's a lot of information to hold within the 6-week program. So we'll see that they might take it 2 times, like back to back, and then always, every single time, you always hear them say, oh, I get it so much better the second time around, which is, it's okay with me. They can come as many times as they like, as long as they're learning something. So we will see that they will come again, but it is that same set curriculum essentially, except for the minor changes every time, every 6 weeks for at least the level 2 job readiness. One more thing, Anita. Do you offer any CANCRID badging or micro credentials for targeted programming? No. Yeah, no, we don't. And are these classes every day for 2 hours, or how long? So we jump from in-person to online. So in person right now, they'll run for 2.5 hours in the morning, then 2.5 hours in the evening, or the afternoon, sorry. And then on Fridays, it's kind of come in as you need. And I think that's it. Okay. Yep. Okay, so we can move to the next. Do you have anything else to say? Sorry, Anita.
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
We can go to the next slide.
Awesome. Was that one mine?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so we do have some success stories. So I tell this to all of my students as they come in. We had a student who he was unfortunately let go due to COVID. His company shut down. He was working 28 years as a shipper receiver, and he ended up walking into a Service Canada, and they said, he got chatting with the manager there. I don't know how this man did this, but they said, well, you need to improve your digital literacy skills, so especially your Microsoft Word and Excel. And he came in, I think he stayed with us for 3 rounds, so 6 times 3. And he ended up securing a position with Service Canada. So I always tell this story because I feel like it helps our learners realize that these are so important. These skills are very, very important for them to learn, and it gives them confidence in what they're doing. We also have, as a success story, just the independent learners that come in who really want to bridge that gap between technology that they've lost over the years. You know, a lot of them come in and they can't even turn on a computer, and it's just so essential to have in today's age. And I think it's a success when the smile that's on their face when they say, "Oh my gosh, I actually got that." So it's lovely. We love that. And then lastly, just newcomers with no prior experience. So just successfully learning to navigate in a digital space. We have many, many learners who come into our program and they just have not been afforded the opportunity to even, again, turn on a computer. So seeing them go from, you know, absolutely no skill to being able to successfully navigate is it's worth $1 million in words. Like, it's amazing. So it's something that we really pride ourselves on. All right, so we added a little quote here: the more you read, the more things you'll know, the more you learn, the more places you'll go. So that's from Dr. Seuss, and we just like to thank everyone today for listening to us. And if anyone has any questions now.
Sorry, can I just jump in?
Yeah.
One thing I did want to mention, going back to the questions about pushback from the reps and things. So yes, we're doing digital literacy, and we know that computers can't be their only goal path. However, we do, like, it's not just digital literacy, it's communication skills as well. And we do have them do some of the communication milestones. So, and again, it's unfortunate if you're having pushback from your rep, because they are in my opinion, this very valuable to the students. Like, the students get a lot out of it, and they get some skills to get them on to their next step. So again, it's very unfortunate if you're having pushback, but the digital literacy and communication combination is a great combination and a great opportunity for learners, I think. So yeah. I just want to slip that in there.
Definitely. We try and now, like, I think too, when we're building a lot of the offering or the activities that we're doing outside of what the ministry is kind of mandating that we do, we're looking at ways to connect to their everyday lives where it makes sense with them. I'm not just going to teach them how to use Excel. I'm going to say, okay, well, how could we build a budget, and how could you use this in your everyday life? And that's where it clicks. And they go, oh, wait, there's purpose for this. I can use this outside of just this classroom. So
yes, sorry, just one more thing. I just saw something pop up about even numeracy in Excel, and yes, we absolutely do a math milestone with our Excel class.
Yeah.
And again, we do have a lot of independent learners, but they don't count for a large part of our course, because we know we keep the independent learners to more of a minimum than others. But yeah, we definitely have a lot of employment-based learners, and they go on to their next step, which is great.
Mira's asking, can we speak more to the limitations of ESL students accessing your program?
Okay, well, in our school board, if we offer ESL and LINC classes, and if they are full-time learners in either of those programs, then they have to be attending there, and they can't attend, they can't do both at the same time. So in the past, it used to be double dipping because it was different ministries, but now we're all under the same ministry, but we are not at our school able to accommodate people that are in full-time. So we do have other programs. We have part-time ESL classes where we get some learners from. We have ESL credit, which are actually high school credit courses, and they run in the afternoon after their day has finished, so we're able to accommodate them. So we do offer a lot of programming to ESL, but we do have the limitations, and we do have to say, you can't take our course if you're in a full-time ESL class.
There's a question here. Is that a board policy or a ministry policy?
It's a ministry policy. We are told by our ministry. So yeah, it's a ministry policy.
Yes, we can share the PowerPoint with you guys. Definitely, Mark.
Yeah, the slideshow or the slides will be shared after, will be uploaded to the site that was referenced, and you will receive information on how to access that. So I want to thank Anita and Cassandra for sharing that information about their targeted training, some of the successes and challenges, and just the logistics in general.
I think our contact information is actually on the next slide as well for anyone interested.
Okay. There we go. All right. And okay, so in order for us to get through the next two presentations, I think we'll move on at this point. Remember, everybody, continue to put questions into the chat. I believe Anita and Cassandra are with us till 3 o'clock. So if you have a question specifically for them, probably get it in sooner rather than later. So, Stacy, if you want to go to the next slide, please. Okay. The next presentation will be by Chantel Michaela, and she is with Spark Employment Services. And Spark is a nonprofit organization established in 1986, focusing on delivering exceptional employment and education services to the citizens of Greater Sudbury. Chantel is the CEO of Spark Employment Services and is a results-oriented visionary leader in the social services sector, celebrated for her strong executive presence and emphasis on fostering collaborative relationships. With a diverse educational background, including a bachelor's degree in sociology and a diploma in travail, social gerontology, along with certifications in lean, green belt, and volunteer administration, Chantel has honed her expertise in various areas such as leadership, strategic planning, organizational culture, event planning, and program design and evaluation over her extensive 2-decade career. So Chantel, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. So firstly, just extending a sincere gratitude to the host for putting this entire event together. Really appreciate it. I'm quite excited to be here amongst colleagues and very much looking forward to engaging in this great discussion. As was mentioned very briefly, so Spark Employment Services is a nonprofit charitable organization based in Sudbury, Ontario, established in 1986. So for nearly 40 years, we've been dedicated to building a dynamic and prosperous community by connecting both job seekers and employers through quality, accessible service. Now, our mission is to provide individualized solutions that empower individuals, strengthen businesses, and create mutually beneficial partnership. At the heart of our work are our core values, so inclusivity, ensuring everyone has access to opportunities, empowerment, equipping individuals with the tools to succeed, compassion, understanding the challenges people face, and respect, fostering dignity in every interaction. So through these guiding principles, we continue to support career growth and economic development in our community. So next slide, please. At Spark Employment Services, we take pride in delivering a very wide range of programs designed to support both job seekers, employers, learners, lifelong learners. As a nonprofit organization, our core funding is from MLITSD through Employment Ontario. This funding allows us to offer essential services such as employment support, training and skills development through programs like EO, Literacy and Basic Skills, and COJG, which helps businesses invest in their workforce. Now, our programming also evolves based on new grants and funding opportunities, which allows us to meet emerging community needs. So currently, we're also quite happy to be delivering the Edge Plus program, which is funded through ESDC. It provides additional training and employment opportunities for our job seekers facing barriers. These diverse funding sources ensure that we continue to offer accessible, high-quality services that help individuals and businesses succeed. If you can move to the next slide, please. So for today's presentation, we'll focus on the various targeted training programs we developed through our Skills for Success pilot project. We were able to develop quite a few, and I'm excited to share a few of them with you. As an organization that shares spaces with employment services, many of our clients do come from us as referrals from Employment Ontario. However, it's important to note that our impact extends way beyond EO referrals, and we're committed to supporting the broader community as well. The Skills for Success initiative have given us the opportunity to design programming that equips our individuals with the essential skills needed to participate, adapt, and thrive in learning, work, and life. So by addressing key skill gaps, we were able to help job seekers build confidence, gain practical knowledge, and secure meaningful employment opportunities. So we'll take a closer look at these programs that we've developed and the impact that they're making. So one of the key programs we developed through the Skills for Success initiative, it was our conversational confidence. This program is designed to help participants build the communication skills needed to navigate life and work in Canada with ease. Through interactive activities and exercises, participants engage with aspects of Canadian culture, gaining confidence in everyday conversation. The program helps individuals make prospects and thrive in a multicultural environment. So more than just language skills, conversational confidence focuses on mastering the unwritten rules of the Canadian workplace, understanding workplace expectation, communication styles, and professional etiquette to support long-term success. Next, we have the budgeting, organization, and time management. So while this course is mainly created for an online delivery, clients can choose to take an in-class version. So in the course, learners learn basic financial literacy and terminology, how to budget wisely for really every situation. And again, like I have mentioned, all this can be both in class as well as online opportunities. Next, we developed workplace wellness. This program is designed to support individuals in maintaining mental well-being in professional settings. We recognize that mental health plays a crucial role in both workplace productivity and overall job satisfaction, which is why this course focuses on key areas such as the importance of mental health in the workplace, mental health for remote work, stress and anxiety management, burnout prevention, safe care strategies. This program incorporates interactive activities and group exercises to provide participants with practical tools for managing workplace challenges. To further enhance learning and encourage ongoing self-reflection, through this project, we also developed our own workplace wellness journal, a resource that helps individuals track their progress, set wellness goals, and integrate self-care in their daily routines. One of the most impactful programs developed through Skills for Success, particularly supporting our employment services programming, has been the Better Jobs Ontario preparatory training. This course has provided immense value to helping job seekers navigate the complex application process for Better Jobs Ontario funding. The program framework ensures participants clearly understand eligibility requirements for the program, necessary documentation, and how to prepare it correctly, key financial details and funding criteria, suitability assessment to determine if the program aligns with their career goals, common challenges and how to overcome them. And a key component of this course is also dedicated to time for questions and concerns, ensuring that participants leave with confidence and the ability to successfully apply for Better Jobs Ontario funding. So by simplifying the process and providing a step-by-step guidance, this program has empowered many job seekers to access the training and education they need for sustainable employment. Last but certainly not least, we'll focus on the course we developed called Conversational Confidence for Adults 45 Plus. So you just want to simply move to the next slide, please. This program is tailored to address the unique challenges mature job seekers face when entering the workforce or making career transitions. So this course goes beyond communication skills, focusing on essential areas such as understanding the skills employers are looking for, both soft and hard skills, mental wellness strategies to manage stress and maintain resilience, combating ageism and breaking down barriers in the job market, and overcoming fears and doubts when seeking employment. Building self-esteem to approach opportunities with confidence, and mastering effective communication to succeed in interviews and the workplace. Through this program, we empower participants to navigate the workforce with confidence, adapt to changing job market demands, and recognize the value of their experience and skill set. If we could move to the next slide, I just want to take a moment to also share with you that we've developed and designed these courses to be flexible in the delivery. So whether delivered individually or in groups, each program can be tailored to meet specific needs of our learners. Of course, some courses lend themselves better to group settings due to the nature of their activities and group exercises, while others can just be very effective one-on-one. Additionally, some of these courses are available on our online platform, D2L, providing even more flexibility for clients who may prefer or require remote learning options. D2L was a platform that we were able to implement through the Skills for Success programming, wanting to sort of pilot and trial the delivery of online programs. Really thought clients would appreciate the opportunity to do both in person, online, and or a hybrid model. Our experience to date shows that a client typically either prefers in person and or online, and not very many are opting for a hybrid model. All right, this testimonial that we have on the slide here is from an individual who took the program and shared with us their thoughts. So I thought it would be good to share this with you. So before joining this program, I found myself at the lowest point in my life. As an older adult seeking change, I felt hopeless about my prospects. However, I was guided to this class, and I can confidently say it has been a transformative experience for me. Overall, I would rate this class perfect 10 out of 10. Thanks to my instructor's guidance, I have not only gained a new perspective on life and work, but also feel empowered to navigate the challenges ahead with confidence. Next slide, please. What I wanted to share is also the practicality of having shorter targeted training readily available to our instructors. What it has allowed us to do at Spark Employment Services has been develop long-lasting partnership. And one I wanted to focus on today was our partnership with LiUNA Local 493. So each year we're invited to contribute to their training and their curriculum, and we customize based on the specific needs of their students using a combination of our targeted training programs. So bringing in some of the components that I shared with you today, but also the power skills and construction math. So this partnership highlights the benefits of targeted training in relations to strengthening relationships with local community partners, organizations, and employers. So through this experience and with our wealth of readily available targeted training, we're currently exploring also building a new partnership with the Carpenters Union. So it just lends ourselves available to be able to customize based on all the various targeted training, and we bring them all together based on the ones that our partners are looking for, and we then create a more wholesome curriculum that is designed specifically for them. So before I go, I do want to leave you with another testimonial. So if you can switch to the next slide. One of our success story was through the SFS ONA program. So this one sort of demonstrates another success we've had with these trainings. So this one received during that pilot, after conducting an ONA, we were able to, based on the assessment, identify a couple employees who would benefit from training. And using a readily available target training modules, personalized plans were created. So this testimonial from an employer reads, so targeted training provided fruitful for 2 participants already employed at E360, a waste and recycling company here in Greater Sudbury. So one of Spark's training facilitators ventured to their workplace to teach these employees, one from Ukraine and the other from Chile, about Canadian workplace culture, English idiom, and basic workplace terminology. After the training was completed, both the employees and the management at 360 admitted that they gained valuable knowledge and insight from this instruction. So last slide, please. Targeted training is a very powerful tool that allows us to take a wealth of knowledge and resource we've already had and package it in a way that best serves the needs of our partners and learners. So by breaking down our material and adapting it to different industries and organizations, we ensure that training is practical, relevant, and impactful. So like our longstanding partnership with LiUNA, it's a testament to the success of this approach. Each year, we tailor our curriculum to align with their needs, their training needs, reinforcing the value of customized workforce development. And so by continuing to build meaningful partnership and delivering flexible client-centered training, we not only strengthen our local workforce, but we are also creating opportunities for individuals to thrive in their careers. So we strongly believe that it's important that we keep innovating, collaborating, and making a difference. And so thank you so much for listening to this presentation. Let me see if I could move this over. If there are any questions, I'm open to it. So I'm going to open the chat and see where we're at.
Chantal, obviously there's been a lot of interest in some of the courses or programs you offer. There's been a couple of requests asking if you share the curriculum or the courses or program outlines. Is that something that's possible, or?
Absolutely. We don't believe in hoarding and keeping everything to ourselves. As was mentioned in the previous presentation, it takes a lot of time and resource to be able to deliver and develop some of these trainings. So yes, I see there's a question about Better Jobs Ontario. Yes, absolutely. We're willing to share and share that resource. And with that pilot, we were also able to sort of create a booklet. So not only is it an online training that one can walk through, but there's a book attached to it. And so a client can follow along the course online, has access to our instructor because it's delivered asynchronous, and they can chat through the platform, but they can also follow along with this booklet. So I'm absolutely open to sharing.
Okay, I've just copied your email and I'm going to pop it into the chat for anybody who would like to connect with you. That's okay with you?
Absolutely.
All right, there we go. It's in the chat. Okay. All right. If you have any further questions for Chantal, please do put them in the chat. Chantal, maybe if you can keep an eye open and see if anybody's asking you something specific, that would be great. Right now, I'm going to introduce our third agency, and it's the Avon-Maitland District School Board, and it's both the Learning Hub and SERP, which is the Skills Upgrading and Readiness Program, or the Classroom LBS program that the school board operates. And they have partnered for some hybrid delivery called Doors. And I'm not going to outline it for you, so maybe I should introduce the people that will be. Vicki Andrews is the Learning Hub Curriculum Program Advisor. She has 17 years of experience at the Avon-Maitland District School Board and has supported learners in various roles, including as a literacy practitioner, both online and in the classroom, as tech support, as curriculum developer, and now as the Curriculum Program Advisor for the provincial LBS eChannel program. Vicki earned an adult literacy educator certificate from Conestoga College, is dedicated to continuous learning, and is actively enhancing her skills in instructional design and online course creation with a focus on accessibility, and effective workshop development to provide the foundation for quality literacy, task-based learning. She was integral to adopting this particular targeted training curriculum. And joining Vicki is Erin Pakunen. She is the LBS program advisor with the CERP program, which is Classroom LBS program. And she is also an online practitioner with the Learning Hub. Erin's a little newer to LBS, but she brings a fresh perspective and great ideas about better ways to serve learners in our community. So I'll turn it over to them now to do their presentation.
Thanks, Heather. So Vicki, I'll just start us off. Thanks for the great introduction. Again, as Heather said, we're sort of representing two different LBS programs, one being online, which is the Learning Hub, and the Skills Upgrading and Readiness program, which is our in-class program. The Learning Hub obviously stretches across Ontario, and where we are is a very rural community. Our classroom program stretches across Huron County and in Listowel, which is just North Perth. The targeted training that we decided to collaborate on is called the DOORS like we did a DOORS workshop, which is the digital outreach for obtaining resources and skills. We decided to pilot this together for many reasons, and we'll kind of talk about them. I know we're kind of short on time, so we'll sort of dive into a little bit more after. But next slide, please. Awesome. So it kind of all started with a few things. First being that a practitioner, her name is Georgina, she's one of our classroom practitioners. She shared this article with both programs, and I'll put the link to this article. It's called the Digital Literacy Program for Adults with Mental Health Conditions. So I'm just going to throw that actually in the chat now so you guys can kind of have a little bit of a reference there. Just let me know if you guys have that okay. And this article really speaks to the impact of low literacy and how that's linked to poor health outcomes, mental health, difficulties accessing health resources, and especially for us, we sort of recognize that, especially in rural areas such as ourselves, where we're geographically located. The pandemic really sort of accelerated everybody's reliance on digital technologies and making digital literacy crucial really for accessing care, connecting with friends and family. But a lot of folks didn't have the necessary digital skills to sort of maintain this huge curve that was happening. So the DOORS program aims to really focus and teach digital literacy to adults, supporting, mental health and wellness. So the article provides case studies illustrating how digital skills can improve mental health. Examples like including using your smartphone to take photos, listen to music, learn new skills on YouTube apps, how to fix your taillight on your van, as opposed to having to bring it in to somebody there, or how to cook a meal on a budget. There's a lot of things that we don't necessarily go to the internet for, and sometimes we don't know how to get the best resources. So this it definitely showcases some great ways to use mobile devices to really access really important information. So the participant in the DOORS program actually showed really significant improvements in digital literacy. And it really enhanced their ability to manage like their social, if they were pursuing any academic sort of opportunities, but even professional opportunities. So everything we strive to support our learners with, we really were able to um, we were able to deliver all of this with the content that the Learning Hub put together for these workshops. Um, some of the other things that and Vicky's going to talk a little bit about some of the content that was created specifically for this group. We use our mobile apps for things like managing diabetes, attending virtual doctor's appointments, if travel's a barrier. It could sometimes pacemakers are hooked up to like an app on your phone, and if something goes wrong, it alerts you. So digital skills were so important, just standalone, but definitely this article that I shared in the link really demonstrates how it really supports even just mental health and wellness. And we were really fortunate enough that an organization within our community pursued like a seniors community grant to support um, sort of senior farmers that were struggling with mental health, but also had low digital skills. And that became quite a big barrier. And when we delivered this workshop, we really, really got a bird's eye view of how much of a barrier that actually is. And there was huge pieces of, how do I use, a map app or a navigator on my phone to number one, locate my car? How do I get to a specialist appointment in London? But it really brightened their eyes to a sense of independence, a sense of inclusion, which was what this program really was designed to do. Um, Next slide, please. So the program was originally for 10-week sessions. So we had met with the facilitators and the creators of this curriculum, the DOORS curriculum, and they graciously shared all the material with us. And one of the other reasons why we decided to do a hybrid is because we want them to actually engage in the digital skills as as they're learning. So instead of just sort of learning it and then going home or sort of practicing a bit, they actually had to fully engage, but with the classroom practitioner support with them as well. So they had, the online piece and then they had the hands-on piece when they needed it. And this was a great piece. I know a lot of you spoke to how do you individualize things when it's targeted training. That was our opportunity to really um, sort of individualize and tailor it. So and there was varying levels. Definitely there was some who were folks who were really sort of lower level and some who kind of had a little bit more familiarity with some of the things that we were working through. So we were able to sort of, as the program's going, we could say, okay, hang on a second. We would work them through that problem immediately and then have them practice, and then they could continue on. The other thing was that if they missed a day, they could obviously at that point, attend from remotely if they needed to. We did adjust the delivery to be 6 weeks due to the location and the time of year, as it was close to winter. But again, we were really fortunate enough to collaborate also with this organization within our community that applied for this grant. So we were able to have a space. So we actually went out into the community as opposed to having people come to the classroom. We met them where they were at, which was really nice. And then there was also the funding, which obviously our programs don't have a lot of, to provide refreshments and iPads for folks that may not have a mobile device so that they could actually gain the experience as well. And they could participate even if if they didn't have something for themselves. So it was a really wonderful opportunity. And I'll let Vicky sort of explain how a lot of the sessions worked and yeah, and how the curriculum, how she and the Learning Hub developed the curriculum and kind of tailored it to this specific group. So Vicky, I'll let you take it from here. Next slide, please.
Thanks, Erin. Yeah, so as Erin said, we did this last fall. It was October and November, and we did it over 6 weeks. We started off, we had 6 participants registered, but within the first or couple weeks, word spread, and they were bringing family members and spouses to the group, and we doubled in size, and we just pivoted with it. We just went with it. We were constantly rolling with everyone's needs. It was a pilot workshop for us. We had never done this type of content, and we had never done it in this area. So we had to roll with a few problems off the start, but then we got quite comfortable. Next slide, please. So the first session was all kind of housekeeping items. We did the registrations, the intake assessments. We taught them how to connect to Wi-Fi on their devices. We explained mobile hotspots because some of them were not able to attend in the community center that we were at, so they wanted to know how they could do a mobile hotspot. So that was something we kind of pivoted on the spot and taught them how to do that. We taught them how to access their email so they would have access to some of the handouts we were going to give them, and also links to the live classes. And we found that a lot of them had devices that someone else had set up for them. They didn't know their passwords. They, they were really reliant on often a son or a daughter or a family member, or even a cell provider on how to set up things on their device and how to access things. So we really dove heavy into passwords and how to have a really strong password and how to keep track of those passwords. We taught them how to use a password manager and how to keep those device update, how to keep the latest updates so that their device was secure. And then we practiced on that first session how to join a Zoom session. Next slide, please. So for session 2, it was more the core settings on the device, your cameras and your settings for your brightness and your font size and sleep mode and things like that. So, and we also, to connect with the health side of the curriculum, we taught them to register for Connect My Health. So Connect My Health is Ontario a portal for patients that, if you're not familiar with that you can go on there and you can access reports from say you've had a test like an ultrasound or blood work. You can go on there and you can review your reports so that you're prepared to talk about it at your doctor's appointments. So they were pretty excited about that. Some of them were nervous about it as well, but we taught them that, and then we taught them how to use their camera, their flash, flip their camera so they could take a selfie, take a video and scan QR codes and screen capture. A lot of them wanted to know how to screen capture things, so we worked on that. Next slide. So for the third session, it was all on wellness apps. It had the theme of the 8 dimensions of wellness. And this was also teaching them how to evaluate an app for privacy and security, and review and install these wellness apps. We had them review step counts on their mobile devices, how to monitor their screen time. And then at the end of that session, we taught them to log into their new Connect My Health account, which was a 2-step verification process. And that was to build on the previous session. So every time we had a session, it was roughly about a 2-hour period. And then we always made sure we had a half-hour spare time at the end of the class that people could ask questions. We could be supporting them on doing some of the things that they were taught, actually practicing downloading an app and things like that. And often those little sessions at the end were great for other things they wanted to learn. They were always bringing questions each week of other things they wanted to learn. And then we would try to add and adapt that into the next week's session. Next slide, please. On the fourth one, it was all about staying connected, connecting with friends. We practiced voicemail greetings and adding contacts and accessing their email, practice sending an email message, and practice texting and doing video calling. And then we also talked about social media and the pros and cons of using Facebook and Instagram. Next slide, please. The fifth session was on the theme of managing responsibilities. We explored the digital calendar, how to have shared calendars, using digital maps on their smartphone. We taught them how to drop a pin or to find their car or to find lost devices. We reviewed popular weather apps and the 511 road conditions app with the cameras so that they could, check out the road conditions before they headed out to an appointment. We also taught them how to use the Flip and Reebie app to look at flyers on the shopping app and how they could save money because a lot of them weren't getting their flyers anymore. So it was something that was important to them. Next slide, please. The last session was on expanding their knowledge and enjoying their downtime, which was a fun way to end. So we used search engines to taught them how to use keywords in their searches, and we looked at ways to identify a safe website, whether there was a lock, or we talked about how to accept cookies, and when that message came up on your device, what that meant. We showed them how to bookmark websites like bookmarking 211.ontario. We also had them download YouTube app, and then we had them pick a certain activity that they wanted to do to enjoy their downtime, whether it was to learn how to cook or dance or repair something. And then we had them pick something to do as a homework assignment. And then we taught them how to create playlists on music apps and on YouTube, and playing games like Wordle and things like that, and how they could go to the library and have apps for reading books. Next slide, please. So that was basically the 6 weeks, and we wanted to create this content so that we could use it with the classroom, because the classroom didn't have the resources. So Learning Hub focused on creating the content, and then we worked in a partnership mode to share our learners and share the milestones that the learners had achieved during the workshop. The mental health theme was very popular with the learners, and they enjoyed that. And we've always had requests for mental health information and things like that. So it was nice to be able to have something like that to offer to both programs. We taught everything in both Android and Apple devices, which was a little challenging. And we found that a lot of participants had devices that were older, and their devices weren't up to date. So that was a challenge. But it was an opportunity also to teach them that, because their device was older and they couldn't update, their Facebook app or whatever, that was creating a security risk for them because they weren't able to have the latest security on their devices. So we really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Aaron and I did it together, and we really enjoyed the workshop, and I can't wait to do it again. It was a great opportunity. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, Vicky, there's a question here about how much time did you do you feel it you went into developing the content?
It was a fair bit of time.
Yeah.
It did, we did take the content from the article that we met with them, and they graciously, like, it was US content, so it had a lot of apps and information about um, the hospital systems and things in the US. So we had to adapt it to Canada and Canadian content. And then we then had to tweak it to be the 6 weeks that our group wanted to do. And we tweaked it every week. It seemed like every time we met with them and the participants asked questions and we learned more in depth of their skill level, we would then tweak the next session to be suitable for their needs. And I think one of the key things that we did was we did handouts each week so that they could take it home and practice and then bring their questions back the following week. That was well received. They really enjoyed having the handouts.
Yep.
And then after we were all said and done, Erin and I kind of reviewed everything and we tweaked the whole thing again. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how it goes if we offer it again. So with the Learning Hub being an online program, we can do it with any classroom across Ontario. So if anybody's interested in that, they could reach out and we would gladly have a meeting to discuss doing that.
And I just wanted to reiterate how important the piece of them actually connecting virtually really cemented some of the skills that they were really learning and building. So having that sort of hybrid delivery was it was a really important piece. And I think as your audience changes, like this was a seniors group, but it's really going to apply for any audience that's sort of varying levels of literacy, digital literacy. For sure that being able to engage online and practice those skills in like a real life setting was something that was really beneficial. And the other piece that I really took away from this workshop was it sounds like it can be daunting, when different levels can have different questions and you're kind of like, how am I going to bounce between what I actually found was that the learners who are participants who kind of knew a little bit more were willing to share their knowledge or something that they learned if they understood it. So it really connected the group really nicely as well, which is kind of a big piece for some participants. So that was a really positive takeaway as well. But definitely the having the experience of being engaging online, but then also having that immediate feedback with the in-person piece as well, that blended delivery was really spot on for this one. So just like Vicky, we're really excited to roll it out again.
Yeah, I
So
see the questions about delivery. Yeah, we could deliver with a combination with your classroom program and the Learning Hub, and have a meeting to discuss and personalize it to your needs. Yep, we can show some of the slides in a meeting if you want to contact us, and we can talk about we can show you the slides and talk about how we can make it work for your program.
Yeah, Vicky or Erin or both of you, if you want to put your email into it, I guess you could. I see the info emails there too, so that would work as well. So,
Yep.
Yeah. And I was watching this, and just so everybody knows, the Learning Hub or Avon Maitland is in my region. And I used to work for them as well, but I was looking at this and I'm thinking I need to sign up. I need to sign up for that program. Maybe I'm of the age, I don't know, but definitely, something that I think would be beneficial to a wide variety.
Well, I found teaching it, I learned something as well. Every time you
Every time.
teach, you learn something. So
Yeah. One of the pieces that I really liked that Vicky had included was scanning QR codes and being secure online. There's large demographic that's really quite nervous about that, and having that information and that practice of when to do it safely, what is safe, what's not, is a huge piece. And then just afterwards I had it was a canvasser from Sick Kids that came to my door that was canvassing for donations, and it was all done electronically. And for somebody who has sort of higher level digital skills, I was even taken aback. So imagine what it would be like for people with really low level digital skills to manage things like even just like that. Someone who's a pure rep, fine. It was a little nerve-wracking. So I was able to see how much of a barrier having low digital literacy skills can be, especially when information is not as accessible in rural areas such as ours as it is in some other areas. So yeah, it was a fantastic workshop. I look forward to doing it again.
So, people get in touch with you, will you meet with them individually, or do you want to kind of try to coordinate like a group info session so that you don't have to repeat yourself multiple times?
I think we could do it individually, just that way we can personalize it to everyone's needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your emails are all in the chat. So you should be able to have some contact made.
Yep, I can put mine in. The first contact would definitely be the Learning Hub, and then if there's anything, Vicky will pull me in for anything questions regarding the classroom piece, but I'll put my email in here so that you guys can have it.
Perfect. Okay, on that note, I'm just going to thank you guys for your presentation. I'm going to thank the other presenters again as well. It was an interesting afternoon, a lot of variety in terms of what people are delivering for targeted training. There's some very innovative programming and definitely opens your eyes to the possibilities. So thank you again for taking the time to share that with us. I realize that this has been a hectic time of year to be pulling together PowerPoints and presentations, but thank you to everybody else. And I think Stacy has put the survey, the evaluation survey for this webinar in the chat. So please help us out by completing that survey. It's very short, but it just allows us to report back to the ministry that we're meeting our performance measures for pop-up PD. And it's always good to be able to tell ministry what good work people in the field are doing as well. So thank you again for attending. We will be sending out a survey probably in April to the field asking about the types of PD, online PD that you'd like to see next year. So be sure to fill that out when it comes around so we can choose appropriate and applicable PD that meets your needs. So thank you. Thank you also to our ASL interpreters, Rebecca and Kim.